Hi, very good morning. So today we will continue our topic. Today is regarding introduction of finite element analysis for stress analysis in the engineering design. Right? Okay. So what is FEA? Okay. A brief history of computer-aided engineering. So first, Lord John William Strutt Rayleigh, late 1800s, developed a method for predicting the first natural frequency of simple structures. It assumed a deformed shape for a structure, then quantify the shape by minimizing the distributed energy in the structure. Yeah. So Walter Rees then expanded this into a method now known as the Rayleigh-Rees method for predicting the stress and displacement behavior of structures. Yeah. So in 1943, Richard Coren proposed breaking a continuous system into triangular segments. So the unveiling of ENIAC at the University of Pennsylvania. In the 1950s, a team from Boeing demonstrated the complex surface could be analyzed with a matrix of triangular shapes. Yeah. And then Dr. Ray Kroc coined the term finite element in 1960. The 1960s saw the true beginning of commercial FEA as a digital computers replaced analog ones with the capability of thousands of operation per second. Alright. Okay, so I just edit this one first from okay, right. So in early 1960s, the McNeil Swandler Corporation (MSC) developed a general purpose of FEA code. This original code had a limit of 68,000 degrees of freedom. When the NASA contract was complete, MSC continued development its own version called MSC Nastran, while the original Nastran became available to the public and formed the basis of dozens of FEA packages available today. Around the time MSC Nastran was released, and SYS, MARC, and SAP were introduced, right? So by 1970s, the computer-aided design or CAD was introduced later in the decade. So in the 1980s, the use of FEA and CAD on the same workstation with developing geometry standards such as IGS and DXF permitted limited geometry transfer between the system. So in the 1980s, CAD progressed from 2D drafting tool to a 3D surfacing tool and then to a 3D solid modeling system. Design engineers began to seriously consider incorporating FEA into general product design process. So as the 1990s draw to a place, the PC platform has become a major force in the high-end analysis. The technology has become too accessible that is actually being hidden inside CAD package. So there are three rapid product development process. First is communication, two second visualization, and three simulation. So there are enabling technologies have emerged to provide the communication, visualization, and simulation capabilities required by RFD. These technologies are 3D solid modeling, finite element analysis, and rapid prototyping. Yeah, so you can see evolutions of this FEA analysis. Yeah, from the concept, and then they provide we need to have a detailed design and then construct the prototype. After prototype have been established, and then verification from the parts, yeah, the prototype parts, and then during verification there was a optimal design or best alternative when time and money run out, and then start production, right. This is the traditional product development process. And then relative cost of product change of the different stage of the design, yeah, whereby from the concept, simulation, detail design, verification, production, and market is subject to the cost, right. So cost versus knowledge dilemma. This is the things that all the companies that when they want to develop something, the development cost is quite crucial, yeah, in order to produce the product and then to sell to the market. Okay, so product development using predictive engineering, yeah. So when we have this kind of new software, engineering design software, then the manufacturing can conduct a design and development, and then they can provide a good product that can be given to the customer, right. So this is the improved tracking of cost versus product knowledge with simulation, whereby when we have this new technology, this software technology, and then the cost can be more cheaper than the conventional one, right? So who should use the FEA? The champion was integrated in the equation of the technology. Yeah. So the designer, on the other hand, was selected to be the FEA guide or gal. Once management made the decision to bring in FEA, many champions lost sight of the limitation. Also common to both types is a solution from peer interaction to talk about modeling techniques and result interpretation. While some do not know where to look for the support, others do not know why they should. So pointing FEA in the right direction, process. First, we need to establish a clearly defined goal. Second, compile and qualify the inputs. Third, solve the problem with the most appropriate means. And fourth, verify and document the results. Yeah, so substances in the process. What is the goal of analysis? Predictive engineering versus failure verification. Trend analysis versus objective data. Selecting required output data. What input is required for the solution and what level of uncertainty does it introduce? And then finally, what is the most efficient means to solve the problems? Yeah. So common misconception about FEA. First, we need to meshing is everything. FEA replaces testing. Finite element analysis is easy. Finite element analysis is hard. And learning the interface equals learning FEA. So FEA capabilities and limitations. Actual performance versus FEA results. So how accurate are the results? Every variable or price of data that you are acquired to the system is assumption and a source of error. Yeah. So there are source of error, material properties, the geometry, and loading condition. So this is how FEA calculates the data. So from basic equation, F is equal to Kx. So for equilibrium, yeah, this is the equilibrium equation. And then finally the assembly, whereby this is the matrix one, right? The correctness versus accuracy, the correct answer, correct result are results expected by those observing or envisioning the parts or system working the fields. Yeah. So the accurate answer in FEA is considered the best result obtainable for the properties, geometry and boundary conditions specified. That is the best answer to the question posed. Typically, the degree of accuracy refers in a large part to converge or the refinement of the mesh necessary to reduce error. It means that you need to do the trial and error, yeah? So do the meshing and so on, and then at the end of the day we can get the actual result. Yeah. So H element versus P elements. Elements that can assume higher H orders are called P elements. H elements which typically limits the elements order to quadratic and convergent requires mesh refinement. So key assumption in FEA for designs, four primary assumptions. First, geometry, properties, mesh and boundary conditions. So for linear static assumption, yeah, material properties, material is said to be linear if the stress strain ratio is or can be assumed to be linear. Geometry constant, the primary result of this condition is decreasing displacement under increasing load. The primary cause of this stiffening is increased tensile stress in the area being deformed as the axial stress in a self-stiffen. This is often called stress stiffening. So boundary condition, the boundary condition do not change from the point of load application to the final deformed shape. Loading must be constant in magnitude, orientation and distribution. For static assumption, a good way to interpret the static assumption is that the state and a constant magnitude. So for dynamic simulation, there are three primary types of dynamic loading. First, transient response of time-dependent loading. Second, frequency response of sinusoidal loading. And finally, is the random response, right? So transient response, if the duration of a period of the event is so small, the system can be respond quickly to fully deform before the load reported by a static analysis. For frequency response, the frequency response analysis is also steady state, but it differs from a static analysis that puts the magnitude and duration of the load very sinusoidally. As the frequency of the input approaches any natural frequency of the system, the difference between the static and dynamic response diverge, right? Okay, so okay, wait. So for random response, while loading in frequency, random response input typically in pounds of pound versus frequency. Random response input is in the form of acceleration squared g squared versus frequency. These data are usually compiled in the form of power spatial density PSD curve. Random response is input rarely is not random at all but a pre-approved spectrum of excitation and frequencies. Other commonly used assumptions, geometry, the supplied geometry adequately represent the physical part. Non-linear geometry system will not affect the behavior of the system. And then stress behavior outside of the area of interest is not important to this project, such the geometric simplification in those areas will not affect the outcome. Only internal failures in the area of interest will be included in the solution. The thickness of the part is small enough relative to its width and length such that shell isolation is valid. And then the thickness of the wall are sufficient constant to justify constant thickness shell elements. Local behavior at the corners and intersection of the thin surface is not a primary interest, such that not special modeling of this area is required. The primary members of the structures are long and thin, such that the beam adhesion if valid, and local behavior at the joints, beams, or other discontinuities are not of primary interest, such that no special modeling of this area is required. The corrective external features will be assumed insignificant to the thickness and performance of the part and will be omitted from the models. And then the variation in the mass due to suppressed features in negligible. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so 2D plane stress or plane strain solution will be used. It is assumed that any past features that evaluate the planar assumption will have no impact on the behavior of interest. Reflective symmetry will be used. The geometry and boundary conditions are or can be assumed to be equivalent across one or more planes. Yeah. So for material properties will remain in linear regime. It is understood that either stress level exceeding yield or excessive displacement will constitute a component failure, that is non-linear behavior cannot be accepted. Nominal material properties are adequately represent the physical system. Material properties are not affected by the load rate. Material properties can assume isotropic or orthotropic and homogeneous. Yeah. So the part is free from void of surface inspection that can be produced stress riser and skew local result. Actual non-linear behavior of the system can be extrapolated from the linear material result, where material and the heat affected zone will be assumed to have the same properties as the base metal. So all summation will assume room temperature, although temperature variation may have significant impact on the properties of the material used. Unless otherwise specified, this change in the property will be neglected. Yeah. So you can go through on this topic. Yeah. It's quite lengthy. Okay. Alright. So that is the topic for today. Yeah. So after this, I will share with you the videos that you need to go through. Okay. Okay. This is the video. Wait. Video. Okay. Video class. Okay. Alright. So this is the video for non-stress analysis. The non-linear stress analysis. Alright, this is the video for non-linear.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today's webcast, Understanding Linear and Nonlinear FEA using Inventor and Nastran. Our presenter today.
Okay, so I go through
industry standard
videos and then I will share with you
very quickly.
Yeah, so you go through these videos. Yeah. Alright, you go through these videos, and then at the end of the day, you get the maximum displacement versus load scale factor. Yeah. Alright.
Magnitude of displacement.
So that's all for today. Yeah. So after you go through all these videos, yeah. So I will WhatsApp you this module, this slide, and then you need to go through this slide, understand this slide, and then go through the videos, the only one videos, and then after you go through all the things, and then you say that you email to me that you have seen the videos and also these notes, and then I will give you the the assignments. Yeah. So for the assignments, it's more toward the stress analysis. You need to have Nastran in Autodesk, in Inventor. So it's exactly same like the videos that we've been shown. Yeah. So you need to provide me the assignments lah. Yeah. Alright, when you finish that one. Alright. Okay, that's all for today. So I will share this video to you soon. Alright. Okay, thank you.